At around 600 meters below the surface, water presses down with enough force to collapse tiny air pockets inside a fish's skin, forcing cells to reshape themselves just to stay intact. This is the point where biology quietly stops being polite. And if you've ever enjoyed swimming in the ocean, this is where I should warn you that what comes next is going to make that memory less relaxing than you'd prefer. Because below this depth, evolution does not behave like a careful designer. It behaves like a criminal under pressure. It cuts corners, it ignores rules. It breaks things that worked perfectly fine up near the surface and replaces them with solutions that only make sense if survival is the only goal left. The ocean does not become strange all at once. It becomes strange layer by layer as light disappears, pressure rises, and life slowly abandons anything it cannot justify carrying with it. The sunlight zone, where evolution still pretends to be civilized. The top layer of the ocean, known as the sunlight zone, is where life still looks familiar enough to feel safe. Sunlight reaches this layer easily, allowing plants to grow and food chains to form in ways that resemble what we see on land. Fish here have smooth shapes, balanced proportions, and colors that either attract mates or help them blend into coral reefs and open water. Predators chase, prey escapes. Everything looks like it's following rules that make sense, which is exactly why humans are comfortable here. But even in this supposedly reasonable layer, evolution is already testing boundaries. Fish flatten themselves against the seafloor like biological floor mats. Others stretch their jaws just far enough to swallow prey that looks mathematically impossible. And some begin flashing colors that mean "do not touch" instead of "look how pretty I am." The sunlight zone feels calm only because mistakes are forgiven here. Energy is abundant, visibility is reliable, and consequences are delayed. This is the last place in the ocean where evolution bothers pretending it cares about aesthetics. The twilight zone, where evolution starts cheating the system. Below the sunlight zone is the twilight zone, where light still exists but arrives weak, scattered, and unreliable, like a rumor that can't be confirmed. Plants can no longer grow here, which means every organism must hunt something else to survive. Food becomes uncertain, energy becomes precious, and evolution responds by quietly abandoning fairness. Eyes grow larger to capture the last usable photons, bodies darken to dissolve into shadow, and familiar fish shapes begin warping into something harder to read. This is where evolution starts committing visual fraud. Some fish glow from below to erase their silhouettes, effectively photoshopping themselves out of existence. Others stretch their bodies into strange proportions or grow heads that look wrong on purpose, forcing predators to hesitate just long enough for survival to tip in their favor. In this layer, looking confusing is more valuable than looking strong. If you cannot outrun something, you make it doubt what it's seeing. The twilight zone is where fish stop trying to look like fish and start trying to look like problems. The midnight zone, when light is gone and biology stops asking permission. Once you descend into the midnight zone, sunlight disappears entirely, and with it goes any obligation to look familiar. This is where deep-sea fish stop relying on vision and start outsourcing perception to sound, vibration, and light they generate themselves. Bioluminescence becomes currency here, used to lure prey, signal allies, or simply confuse anything watching too closely. Because in total darkness, visibility is no longer about seeing better, but about controlling what others think they are seeing. Evolution does something especially dishonest in this layer. It builds animals that look unfinished, as if someone stopped halfway through and decided that was good enough. Mouths grow larger than bodies. Teeth curve inward like traps designed by someone who hates symmetry. Stomachs stretch beyond reasonable limits because when food is rare, missing a meal is not an option. Some fish can swallow prey almost their own size, not because it is elegant, but because the next opportunity might not come for weeks. These fish are not aggressive hunters, they are biological insurance policies. And when prey finally appears, the environment ensures there is no second chance, no escape, and no audience to witness what happens next. Bodies designed by scarcity, not comfort. Food in the deep ocean does not arrive on schedule. It falls. It drifts. It appears by accident. As a result, deep ocean animals abandon muscle, density, and speed in favor of efficiency, because chasing things in near-zero visibility is a terrible business plan. Their bodies become soft, gelatinous, and flexible, because rigidity costs energy they cannot afford to spend when every calorie is borrowed against an uncertain future. Hard bones give way to structures that bend under pressure instead of breaking, and unnecessary organs quietly disappear without ceremony. Eyes shrink, muscles thin, and even pigmentation fades, because decoration is expensive and no one is watching anyway. These fish look fragile, but they are not weak. They are stripped down to essentials. Evolution has audited its bodies and removed everything that does not justify its own existence. In a place where survival depends on patience, efficiency, and waiting longer than your competition, looking incomplete is not a flaw. It is proof that nothing extra survived the budget cuts. The abyssal zone. The abyssal zone begins where the ocean floor stretches out into darkness, covering most of the planet while remaining almost entirely unseen. Pressure here is immense. Temperatures hover near freezing, and movement slows to a crawl. Life exists, but it does so quietly, as if aware it does not have permission to waste energy. Fish in this layer often lose functional eyes, relying instead on sensors that detect vibration or chemical traces in the water. Bodies become pale, translucent, and slow, blending into darkness so completely that even bioluminescent predators struggle to locate them. This is not a place of action. It is a place of endurance. Somewhere above, emails are being answered, and taxes are being filed, while down here, survival happens without witnesses. The hadal zone, where physics starts winning. The hadal zone exists in ocean trenches so deep that pressure exceeds 800 bar, enough to crush most human technology. This is where evolution does something deeply uncomfortable. Instead of fighting pressure, it gives up and yields. Fish here have bodies that flex and compress, cell membranes that remain fluid under forces that would shatter rigid structures, and proteins stabilized in ways most biology textbooks never bother mentioning. At these depths, protein folding becomes a problem. Pressure interferes with molecular bonds, causing enzymes to lose their shape and fail. Hadal fish solve this by altering cellular chemistry, using compounds that stabilize proteins under extreme compression. This is not an adaptation in the inspirational sense. This is damage control at a molecular level. Life negotiating with physics and barely winning. Why these fish look like mistakes. Deep-sea fish look disturbing because they are not designed to be seen. They are designed to function. Remove light, warmth, and abundance, and evolution stops caring about symmetry, beauty, or intimidation. It prioritizes whatever keeps cells intact and systems running. These animals are honest in a way surface life is not. they show exactly what matters when comfort is removed. Sensory systems replace eyes. Storage replaces speed. Confusion replaces defense. The deeper you go, the less these fish resemble animals meant to be admired, and the more they resemble tools built for survival in an environment that does not care if they exist. What the ocean layers quietly reveal. Each ocean layer removes another life illusion. Intelligence is not always useful. Strength is not always rewarded. Speed is often irrelevant. What matters is fit, and fit is defined entirely by environment. Change the environment, and evolution will gladly abandon everything you thought was important. The ocean layers are not a gradient of danger. They are a record of compromise, showing how far life is willing to go when the rules change, and mercy is no longer available. In the end, beauty is merely a luxury of the surface. Down here, only the negotiation with physics counts. A negotiation that always begins with the fact that, at around 600 meters below the surface, water presses down with enough force to collapse tiny air pockets.